What's up, YouTube? I think this guy's recording. Yeah. Anyways, it's difficult for me to get a moment of quiet in my house today, so I'm trying out this new phone contraption. Hooks to my vent. But anyways, if I was smoking a pipe right now, it would be my 7LA Oscar Tiger Rhodesian with some Mac Baron's Vanilla Cream Flake. The reason why I don't have that is, for one, I don't smoke in my car usually. I have to shift and everything. It's a pain in the nuts. And two, I was smoking that before my girlfriend's cousin got home, and I don't like to smoke in the house when people are out. So that pipe sits loaded at the house. Anyways, haven't really checked in a while. I just thought I'd give a little update. I took the last final test of this semester. It was my chem final Wednesday. Pretty much damn near failed it. So we'll see if what my grade is in that class. And I start work on Tuesday. Cool part about work this summer is that it's the same job I did last summer, but this summer I'm turning it into an internship, so I get those credits. That's nice. Something that was interesting to me, I watched The Great Gatsby last week, and the new one. It's a pretty good movie. I'd suggest go see it. But basically, you know, we all remember the story from high school or middle school whenever we read it. You know, the guy's kind of a shyster, you know, he's not really telling the whole truth. And while I was watching the movie, I thought to myself, I've met Gatsby. And what I mean by that is I met a character before that seemed too grandiose to be true, almost bigger than life, and he ended up being a shyster. And now I'm a pretty skeptical guy, but this guy even had me I would say 90% fooled. There was still a little something in me that knew that the guy was full of crap. So I play trivia, or used to. I think we're going to start up again. Play trivia every Tuesday night at the local pub in town. And one night, a guy about 55 or so, maybe younger, maybe in his late 40s, approached our table, and he had a lot of the answers. He was a nice fella. He had a few drinks on him, and so did we. So, you know, of course, we all got along. And he just he had a few stories to tell. And I am automatically, I call him, you know, there's a bullshit flag in my head that goes off whenever somebody starts telling a story that sounds, oh, great, you met some famous baseball player, and you hung out in, you know, some famous sports players, you know, house for a couple of nights and partied with the rock stars and stuff. That's the kind of stories this guy had. So I completely thought he was full of shit. And plus the fact, you know, you kind of got the impression that the guy was not married and, you know, maybe kind of a loner. And maybe that's why he had approached our table and had so much to say. Because, you know, I kind of picked up a slight mental, something wasn't right in his head. But to make a short story longer, he played trivia with us and actually knew quite a lot about U.S. history, sports, and knew a lot about sports. And he actually had us winning more so than we usually did. We usually did pretty well, but with him, we dominated, and it was kind of cool. And it got to the final match down in town, and so we all went. And that night, I wasn't drinking because I was the DD. And some weird twist of social whatever went on. I ended up being the only person driving back to town when the old man had to get back to town. And so I said, sure, man, I'll give you a ride. I don't give a shit. He's like, you know what, don't even give me a ride. Drop me off at Pinky's. Pinky's the name of the pub right downtown. I'm like, okay, it's within walking distance from my apartment. Okay, I'll drop you off at Pinky's, whatever. So, mind you, at this point, I think the guy's totally full of crap. I think he's, you know, got mild mental issues and maybe doesn't quite, he tells lies. So we get in the car, we're driving down the road, and he starts going back into his storytelling mode again. And now all of a sudden he's telling me he's got this big business in the area, he's setting up another business, he's got all this money and all these connections. I'm thinking bullshit. And then the weirdest thing happens. He starts talking about his former CIA days in the military, and through my military experience, everything he said he said it in a way where I believed him. He used the proper terms, the terminology, he used the proper way of speaking. He knew a lot about aircraft, and that was what I worked on in the military, and there was some, I didn't do anything majorly secret, but we did have some exposure to secret organizations like the CIA, special ops, stuff like that. And what he was saying, he was pretty believable. It was pretty legit. And he says to me, he's going to have his driver meet him at the bar. I'm thinking, you have a driver? What are you a freaking driver for? He says something about, I really don't know why I have a driver, but what his excuse was pretty legit. People just cannot drive cars. Anyways, the guy's just being more and more believable as time goes on. I'm just like, holy crap. So by the time we get to the bar, mind you, this is a 10-minute car ride. By the time we get to the bar downtown where I'm dropping him off at, I'm like kind of sold. I'm like, really? And the part that kind of like nailed it all home was like, I go into the bar with him for a couple of drinks because we're walking distance. So if I have too many, I can just walk home and I can park, you can legally park your car right downtown. He says to me, come and have a couple of drinks, it's on me, and I'll have my driver take you home. Your driver, okay, whatever. And he's telling me about this. He's got all these guys working for him, the migrant workers. He's got this whole thing working. He's got this multi-million-dollar grape deal. He's going to pick all these grapes and have all the migrant workers work for him. He's making millions, blah, 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 blah. Okay, whatever. We get to the bar, and everyone says, hey, whoever his name was, how's it going? What do you want? He says, buy me and this guy a beer. So here comes the beer. And wouldn't you know it, a group of migrant workers walk into the bar right behind us. He introduces me all to them. They're all talking about the grapes they're going to pick. They're all talking about the money they're going to make. Sure enough, outside I meet a gentleman in a very nice SUV, like a Cadillac Escalade, brand new. It's his driver. He says, yeah, I'm his driver. I'm like, wow, man, this is weird. And while we're sitting there at the bar, he and I are bullshitting, and he starts telling me, he said, what do you what kind of cigars you like? I said, Rocky Patel is my favorite. He's like, I know Rocky Patel. He said, if you want a box of Patels, I got them at my house. I'll have them here for you tomorrow. Come grab them, come pick them up. I'm like, what for? He's like, you're a nice guy, I can tell. I'm thinking to myself, this is freaking weird. We end up drinking until 2 in the morning. Bar closes. I'm not in the bag, but I'm not good enough to drive. So I go to walk home. He says, hold on, I'll have my driver take you home. Sure enough, we hop in the freaking Escalade. Beautiful vehicle, clean, smells brand new inside. Guy drives me home, drops me off. I'm like, this is weird, man. I texted my friends, I was like, I think this guy's legit. Like, I think this guy's stories and crap might be true. It was really strange. And it's not something that it comes easy to me to believe people like that. Go figuring about, and he offers me job opportunities. He says, you know what, you're in college right now, I'll tell you what. He's like, I got jobs lined up, no physical work, nothing like that. He's like, you're a smart guy. He's like, I got some stuff for you to do. He's like, you know anything about computers? I says, yeah, I can build them and I can use them. Fixing them's not too easy, but, I know my way. He says, okay. He says, I'll pay you a ridiculous amount of money. You'll be my guy. I'll call you up when I get some computer issues. I'm like, all right, cool. Sounds fun. I was like, I know how to network stuff. I'm okay with it. I'm not great. He's like, it's fine. So, sure enough, I go back to the bar about 2 nights later. I said, where's so-and-so? I don't want to say his name because I don't know where the guy is or whatever. I said, where's so-and-so? They said, well, that asshole? I'm like, well, what happened? They said, man, he dipped out of town. He owes everybody money. You wouldn't even believe the amount of money he owes everybody. I'm like, holy crap, here it comes. His so-called driver The guy's furious. He's like, man, I worked for that guy for 3 weeks. Can't call him his number. He never paid me. Can't call him. Can't find his number. Can't get in contact with the guy. He skipped town. I'm like, holy crap. This guy was a shyster, you know? But he was so good at it. He got everybody. Now, granted, I didn't know him. He didn't owe me money. He didn't owe me shit. But he owed that bartender hundreds of dollars in bar tabs. He owed the migrant workers. They don't even know where the farm was that they were supposed to pick. The guy, his driver, he didn't pay him. I'm like, holy crap. To this day, you go down there, you mention that guy's name, people are out for blood for that guy. But, I don't know, it was really weird. I kind of watched that Gatsby movie and kind of thought to myself, I met the real Gatsby, and the story didn't quite end so poetically. But anyways, thanks for listening. Thanks for putting up to my car. But, take it easy.